Yo, what's good guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Welcome back to a special edition of Nightwing Knows. This one is all about Nike's latest innovation, which they're calling React.
While we're eating.
Now, React Foam is a brand new cushioning system from Nike, like I said earlier. Basically, this stuff is going to be debuted within the new Hyperdunk 2017, both the basic engineered mesh version as well as the Flyknit version. And on top of that, React is also making its debut within the Jordan brand line with the Jordan Super.fly 2017. So basically, the Hyperdunk 2017 and Jordan Super.fly 2017 are utilizing this brand new React cushion system. It's a foam pad. It is supposed to be full length as well, and it was engineered over at Nike's research lab using data based off of pressure mapping of the foot. So this is nothing new. This is what the Hex Zoom stuff was all about with the LeBron line. If you're into Adidas's older models before the Boost days, that's what the Feature Wear line was all about, as well as the TS line, which used a pure motion setup. And pressure mapping is basically everywhere where the foot strikes the floor with its weight, or the weight of the body plus gravity. So you're gonna want to take those zones and protect them with cushioning. The more protection that you have with those areas, the less stress moves up the body. Now, Nike is like super vague about explaining what stuff is. They like to use PR terms and tell you stories and things like that. And what the normal people want is like what this all means in layman's terms. So what they're advertising with this type of cushion is that it's going to be responsive, absorbive, fuck. It's going to be responsive, absorbent, as well as durable. So unlike Lunar, where it bottoms out or kind of like cakes down and stuff, the more pressure that's applied, this is supposed to be way more resilient than that, way more responsive, or deflect the energy, much like what they do with Boost. Not they, but Adidas. And with that, you're able to get it as thin as possible without losing any of those other properties, so you're still maintaining some sort of court feel. Brand Black is actually really good at this, where they have modified their what is it called? The black foam, where when it was debuted in the JC3, it was very high off the ground, but it had all of those attributes. It was durable and it was really absorbent, and it had high rebound, which means that it springs back into shape. But the problem with that is that it's very, very high off the ground, so it could cause some people to feel a little bit unstable. The lower you are to the floor when you're in a sport that requires a lot of motion and change of direction, like basketball, tennis, soccer, stuff like that, you want to be sitting as low to the ground as possible, just so that your body doesn't ever feel unstable. Nike has also stated that this is their best foam to date that they've ever created, both across the Nike basketball and Jordan basketball platform. What's up, dude?
Carrie's eating cereal in her room.
Okay. Are you being a tattletale right now?
Mm-hmm.
That's not very good. What are you doing?
Well, I want to show Carol that you and
Come here.
eating her room.
Okay, well, why don't you just eat your cereal? Do you see this right here? What is that?
Picture you.
Yeah, okay, and what am I doing?
Carrot just.
No, what am I doing in there?
You just take a picture.
I'm making a video right now. Want to say hi to everybody? Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, now say bye.
Bye.
Get out of here, bro. I gotta finish this. Close my door.
Where?
Right there.
What you did?
Hey, guess what?
I love you.
Okay, so I forgot what I was talking about. I'm gonna try to pull my thoughts back together. Oh yeah, okay, so Nike has stated that this is their best foam that they've ever created, but they did not say this is the best foam on the market, so you gotta kind of like read between the lines. Do I feel that this is gonna be better than Boost? You know what, I don't really know. It's possible that some people will feel that way, but whether it's scientifically better than Boost, I highly doubt it. However, because of Boost and all of that stuff that Adidas has been doing, these two shoes are retailing at $140 with this brand new cushion tech, so it's affecting the market in a positive way for consumers, to where we're getting the best that Nike and Jordan Brand have to offer right now for a reasonable price. And that is pretty much all I know right now as far as like what React is. Again, it's lightweight, it's responsive, and it's supposed to be resilient. So what that means is that it's low profile or thin. It has a high rebound rate, so it will deflect energy, and then the durability part is pretty self-explanatory. So let's go into Instagram. I'm gonna answer as many questions as I can. I don't know how many there are right now. Okay, there's only 46. I don't know if I'm gonna get through all 46, but I'm gonna answer as many as possible, and we're gonna try to do it rapid fire, but we'll see, because I tend to talk a lot. How does it feel compared to Boost? I don't know. Hopefully I'll find out soon. Do you think it will feel unstable? I do not think it's gonna feel unstable because it's within a carrier. So it's not like Boost where it's a platform and then they wrap a bunch of rubber around it to make it stable. This is actually a foam pad. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to insert images to show you guys what I'm talking about. And then they can shape that pad and put it within a footbed of a shoe. So you're gonna have the outsole, the midsole, and then inside of that midsole is gonna be a layer of this foam. So the tooling shape of the outsole and midsole, that's gonna be the thing that creates your stability, so it should be okay. How will it differ from Zoom and Lunarlon? The first thing, Zoom Air is air, so it's completely different, whereas this is foam, so this is more comparable to Lunar. And how it's going to be different from Lunarlon is the longevity aspect, as far as what I can tell, and also the rebounding aspect, where Lunar sometimes feels like it's a dead cushion. It absorbs a lot, but it does not deflect energy. It's more for super low profile stuff. It's so that you get impact protection while still maintaining a lot of like court feel. This is supposed to be a little bouncier feeling, kind of like Zoom, but without the air. What's going on? The parent life. Man, and you wonder why I got gray hair. That's why. Do you think it will replace Lunarlon as the new budget option? I don't know. I don't think that Nike will do away with Lunar, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully. We have seen stuff like Cushlon and Podulon and things like that kind of like make an exit from the brand where they don't really use it anymore. So it's definitely a possibility, especially if it lasts longer. I would say give it like maybe like 3 or 4 years for it to really kind of like them to make their money back on the R&D aspect, the research and development, because they spend a lot of money, you know, researching and developing this new stuff, and then they have to make their money back by having whatever the retail price is plus the cost that it takes to manufacture the product. So all of that stuff, it'll take a few years for them to be able to break even, make some profit, and then, you know, distribute it as a low budget option. The one implemented in the Superfly looks like it would be bottom loaded under a PU/Phylon foam. They do not use polyurethane for new models anymore. It's all Phylon or EVA. Polyurethane is something from the 80s and the early 90s. Do you think it will feel differently compared to the implementation within the Hyperdunks? I think that they're going to be implemented exactly the same. I think you're going to have a Phylon carrier with a footbed inside of the new React system. Very similar to what Adidas is doing with the Dame line, where it is the EVA carrier, and then inside there's the footbed of the Bounce cushion. And then speaking of Bounce, somebody just said, I have a feeling it's going to feel similar to Bounce. I have a feeling that you might be right. I think it's going to feel very similar to that. Is this different than the quote-unquote new Lunarlon? I think this is the new Lunarlon. So I think instead of them saying like this is the new generation of Lunarlon, I think that they're just being like, yo, we're going to rename this or rebrand it, and they're calling it React. If Nike React becomes successful, will Nike move away from Nike Air Max Lunarlon Zoom models and implement React cushioning to shoes in the future, or will they just use Air Max Lunar and Zoom as the equivalent to Adidas's Bounce cushion? They're never going to get rid of their Air cushion because that's their heritage. It's Nike Air for a reason, you know what I mean? Or the Air Jordan and stuff like that. Like that is a staple. You will never not see Air Max units or Zoom Air units. Can we see their foam cushions make an exit? As I said earlier, yes, we have already with Cushlon and Podulon. They're very rarely used nowadays, so it's always possible that Lunar is maybe obsolete in comparison to React, so they just kind of replace it with React, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, you'll never not see Air Max or Air in general, because they're just one and the same. Do you think this new foam will really be as good as something like Boost or Jetlon? I work at Nike and I've heard they're working on a foam they're calling the Boost Killer. Whether or not it's React or ZoomX, I don't know. Yeah, I've heard both things. I don't think that it's going to be the Boost Killer, but I know that's what this is striving to be. Again, within their PR, you know, stuff that they present to the public and to media, they were very specific in not mentioning Boost or not mentioning that this is like the best cushion ever. You can't say that unless it's true, so I do not think that they have anything that matches Boost just yet as far as, you know, impact protection and deflection of energy. Jetlon, I'm not sure. I think that what Brand Black has is really great with Jetlon. I think that Jetlon is closer to Bounce, so I'm hoping that this is similar to that, where Nike, Adidas, what do you call it, Brand Black, and whoever else is in the mix. I'm brain farting, Under Armour, stuff like that. Like I'm hoping that they all have similar foam cushions. That way it starts to really be like oh, the cushion's similar, so that's one aspect we can all cancel out when comparing these shoes. But what else is better? Is it materials? Is it the fit, the traction, so on and so forth? Nike said these two outsoles were designed just for the React cushion, so can the wearer only feel React cushion with certain outsoles? I don't think so. They can modify that cushion to be in anything, in any shape, in any form. I think what they've done with the pressure mapping outsole is make it so that you are ensured that you feel it in those zonal areas, like I said before, where they're mapping like where pressure points are to alleviate stress from the body upon impact. So I think that's what this is all about, what the pressure mapping thing is all about. Do not be surprised if we see React cushion in future models that don't feature, a pressure mapped looking outsole, because I don't think it's really needed. Do you think it will lead to a reincarnation of Converse's React Juice? Man, I wish. That would be dope. But React Juice was an actual like liquid slash gel, and that wouldn't last very long. It was super comfortable while it did last, but then it would get really hard and it would turn into a solid and then crack and break and all that stuff. So I do think it's weird that Nike owns Converse now, and they're calling a Converse, or they're calling this new tech React, which was an old Converse, tech or technology name or whatever you want to call it. I think that that's weird, but I mean, Nike could do whatever they want. I guess React is the best way to describe what the cushion does. I'm going to guess it's going to feel like Lunarlon, but with some energy return. That's exactly what it's going to be like. It's going to be absorbent like Lunar, but then bouncier or more responsive, or more reaction from the cushion itself after the impact is done. This guy says, interesting choice to debut the new cushion. I don't understand. I understand the Hyperdunk, but not the Superfly so much. I think that Nike and Jordan Brand are trying to boost each other up right now, because basketball sales are going down across the board. Not just with Under Armour or Adidas or whatever. It's like all basketball, like the category itself and footwear sales have plummeted over the last few years, whereas they were reaching a peak when reselling and things like that were super high. So I think that it was smart of them to do that, because basically they're taking the Hyperdunk of Nike, which is like the everyman shoe, and then they're taking the Hyperdunk of Jordan Brand, which is now the Superfly, and they're cross promoting this new cushion. And that way, if you're a Nike head, you could do that, grab the Hyperdunk and be good to go, or if you're a Jordan head, you can grab the Superfly and again get the same kind of cushion out of it and be good to go. What's the difference between this and Zoom X cushioning? I don't know for a fact, but I think it's thickness, and also the fact that Zoom X has that carbon fiber spring plate within it. So I think that it's a combination of foam and carbon fiber spring plate versus this, which is just like a pillow or a pad. Is it absorbent or bouncy? And that's what they say, but again, we don't know until we try it. Do I think it will be as good as Boost? I don't think so. Just because, like I said, if you read between the lines, or like between like the PR stuff that they tell you, it doesn't sound like it, because Nike's very specific with things if they're super confident in it. So if they feel that their stuff is better than Boost, they're gonna flat out say like, yo, this is better than everything. But they did not say that. They said this is better than everything we've done so far. A lot of people are asking if this is a Boost killer. I just don't think that it's gonna do anything against Boost right now. In my garage, maybe I should make a video of this, I'm not sure if I will or not, but in my garage I have this big pad of Boost, and it's got like the D Rose logo like cut out of it or whatever, but it's a thick freaking piece of Boost foam. And I have this kettlebell that's like 20 or 25 pounds, and I've dropped the kettlebell on this Boost pad just to see what happens, and it literally bounces the kettlebell off of it, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So I do not think that this is gonna like be the same thing. Like if I get a pad of this like React foam or whatever and put it on the floor and drop that kettlebell on it, I do not think that kettlebell is coming back up. But it does that with Boost. So, I don't think that it's the Boost killer right now, but I do think that Nike is constantly innovating for something that will be. So you can't wait too long as a company and not innovate anything or put anything out, because then what it's gonna look like for them is these other brands are taking off while they're staying like stagnant. And so they gotta, even if they're not like 100% satisfied with the results of React right now, they gotta put it out now. Otherwise they're gonna lose their own momentum if they wait like 10 years, you know what I mean? So this makes it look like that Nike every few years is cycling through, you know, new innovation and stuff like that, because they're constantly just evolving everything that they've done in the past. So this person says, just hope it doesn't bottom out. That's the main thing right there. That's the plan. I think that Nike's more interested in making this particular type of lunar, or whatever you want to call it, more durable, along with more reactive, so more bouncy, and then from there they can take off and try to figure out how to make it more Boost-like or better than Boost. I've heard that Lunarlon is never all Lunarlon, but that it needs a carrier like Phylon is react the same way. That's exactly like what all cushions pretty much are. They need something to stabilize it, otherwise you're just all over the place, you're too bouncy. With a sport like basketball, you cannot have an overabundance of cushion. It needs to be just right. And lastly, is this a marketing scheme or a new system? It's a little bit of both. I wouldn't say it's a marketing scheme, it's more of like a gimmick, but a gimmick in a good way. You know what I mean? Like I said, like they have to do things like this in cycles, otherwise they become like non-existent. Like if you take a look at Adidas was using EVA for so long, like almost my entire life, and then they just came out with Boost like a few years ago, and that was the newest thing in almost my whole 34 years of existence. So Nike does not want that, and so with that they're going to constantly be reevaluating their own stuff and then re-releasing it as something new, because they want to always be looked at as the leader of innovation. So that pretty much takes care of everything that I know currently about Nike's new React foam. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you out a little bit. If it did, hit that thumbs up button, goes a long way. Make sure that you subscribe if you have not already. Make sure that you leave your thoughts on Nike's React system down below in the comments as well. I want to hear back from you. I want to know your thoughts on everything, what you think. Like if you have an answer that you want to share about any of the questions asked, feel free and drop me a line down below in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one.